story just happens to be incredibly boring. I'm trying to help you out. But because I overtalked them, it was considered rude. Generational poverty, if there is relationship, it is expected that you will overtalk me. Now, if there's not relationship, it can be considered rude there as well. But if there's relationship, it's expected you'll overtalk me. And yes, we share information in that story, but we also want the story to be entertaining. Let's give you a clear-cut example, and I think the best one is a law enforcement example. An example of the difference between casual register and formal. Let's say that your local gas station, your Quick Trip, just got robbed. It's okay. Everybody's all right. But there are two witnesses. There's going to be the middle-class me witness who will speak formal, who will utilize the formal story structure. I also won't have a lot of nonverbals, and I'll have a larger vocabulary. There will also be the second witness, which will be me from generational poverty. I will utilize the circular story structure, and remember, I'll have more nonverbals, more relational. Let's do the formal middle-class person first. The robbery happened. The officer approaches me. He's going to say something like this. Officer approaches and says, "Ma'am, I heard that you witnessed this crime. Could you please tell me in great detail from beginning to end what happened?" Now, as a middle-class person, I might say, "Yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am," right? Authority. "Yes, officer. I remember it was about 9 a.m. because I remember the radio announcer stating that when I got out of my vehicle. Officer, I proceeded directly through the front doors, directly to the back. I was in the process of opening up the cooler when I heard a commotion up front. I turned. It appeared that a gentleman was robbing the store, so officer, I just took a step back in the corner where I remained until he exited, at which time I called 911 on my cell phone. And the officer might say, "Ma'am, could you please tell me in great detail what that gentleman looked like?" I'd be like, "Officer, I'm sorry, I viewed him for a short period of time. I mean, all I really recall is he had long blonde hair and a denim jean jacket." Now, the officer may question me a little more about this, but let's move on. Eventually, the officer is also going to say, "Ma'am, could you please tell me what type of weapon?" And again, I'd be like, "Officer, I viewed him for a short period of time from the rear. I mean, he was waving his hand profusely. I mean, it was dark in nature. I'm really unsure." And then the officer questioned that a little bit more, but eventually says, "Well, thank you. Here's my card if you think of anything else." Is that pretty middle class? Yes. Woohoo. You should give it up for me. That's hard for me to do. All right. I sweat through that every time. Profusely. Yes. Okay. Now the officer comes up to me. I am from generational poverty. I'm going to have the circular story structure. I'm not going to be chronological. There may be a lot of people in it. I might have a lot of nonverbals. Please do not get hung up on my enunciation or dialect. It changes when I go to South Dakota as well, okay? So it might go something like this. The officer approaches, same thing. "Ma'am, could you please tell me? I heard you were a witness. Could you please tell me from beginning to end what happened?" And I'd be something like this. "Yeah, I'll tell you what's going on. Here's what's going on. Me and my girls, Jax, we're down here getting some milk because I got her 4 kids, up and down, 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 up and down. My new damn couch. My couch, I worked 2 jobs for that couch, 2 jobs, and 1 job I didn't even like. Do that, do that, do that, do that, do that. Shoot, you got a sergeant for a boss. That's got to suck to be you." Which, by the way, is your sergeant old mustache face? You know the man who grows hairs right out his nose. Is that your sergeant? Because you got to let him know we are going to just smack him down one of these days. I mean, the way he threw Fred down 2 weeks back, he didn't have to do that. Well, let's get real honest. None of us really like Fred, but ain't none of us going to throw him down like that. You know what I'm saying? But you might want to let him know to lighten up a little bit. And then you know what? I got puke everywhere. Puke here, puke there, puke there. You can't leave puke set. You know you can't leave puke set. I mean, you got kids, they puke. My oldest boy right through his nose. That's his daddy's stuff. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, then I was 20 minutes late to work just because I had to clean up the puke. And then I got a boss. That boss got so excited, it reminded me of that lady in the corner. The lady in the corner. Woo! Woo! I'm like, what is the big deal? This guy ain't even going to pop. I'm telling you, he only got a 38. You got a double 4K sitting right there. You know what I'm saying? And Jack's trying to go, "That's old man's cousin. That's old man's cousin." I'm saying, that's not old man's cousin. Which, by the way, did I tell you why I got Jax and her 4 kids in my house in the first place? That's because her old man stepped out on her. Where is she? Stepped out on her around the corner with the hoe, but don't tell her I said that because she'd be up in my face, you know what I'm saying about that. But anyway, which, by the way, you know what, when you get done with this, you might want to check on her because she's been busy lately, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, Jack says to me, that's old man's cousin. I said, no, it ain't. She said, yes, it is. I said, no, it ain't. I said, he's in jail. She said, no, he ain't. He's out. She said, that's who's around the corner. That ain't around the corner. You and I both know who's around the corner, but all right. So anyway, I got to get back to these kids. So what you need? Nah. Oh, sure, that you give it up for. That's the easy one. Let's go through it.
38.
Let's go through it. Who gave that officer more relevant information? Let's go through it. In middle class, what type of weapon?
38.
Dark. In poverty, what type of weapon? 30. And I said, he wasn't going to pop. Pop is a made-up word for shoot. You have a master of nonverbals telling you this guy wasn't serious. Either I saw the empty clip or I read his nonverbals, wasn't nervous. Guy wasn't serious. Okay? The second thing then, in middle class, what'd that guy look like in middle class? Blonde hair, denim jean jacket. Generational poverty, what did that guy look like? Someone catching? Right. Old man's cousin. She said that's old man's cousin. I said, no, it ain't. She said, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. She thinks he's out of jail. Because she thinks he's where? Around the corner. Who's really around the corner? Her old man. I said Jax is still in jail. But here's the deal. I'm a concrete processor. So when I work with officers, I try to explain this information in great depth. Do you think I'm going to give you an abstract description of someone when I'm a concrete processor? If I do, don't trust it. Because see, the minute I see you, I associate you to what I already know. We're going to go through some of these hidden rules, the hidden rules that the community operates by. Again, knowing that one's not better than the other, but that hidden rule is effective for the community that it's in. And so we'll take a topic and then we'll view it from poverty, middle class, and wealth. And I'm going to start right in with possessions. In generational poverty, oftentimes people are possessions. Now in middle class, we love our things, don't we? Think about it. I don't care if it's a precious moment knick-knack or a big old truck. We love our things in middle class. We'll go shopping tonight later on for things. Now in wealth, and that's that old money, it doesn't, so what if you have 4 of something? So what? What we like is one-of-a-kind objects. That's oftentimes the way new money and old money distinguish itself, right? I mean, in middle class, if we win a big lottery, what do we go out and do oftentimes? Buy things, all the things for everybody, all the way around. You buy 4 boats. You drive in with 4 boats into a wealthy situation, they're not impressed, so you have 4 of something. So? But you buy the one of the best, one of a kind. Now we can talk. Now that's impressive. And in poverty, it's not that we don't like our things. Of course we like things, but they come and go. I mean, the gold necklace I have today, I might have to pawn it tomorrow. The gold necklace I have today might get stolen tomorrow. So things come and go. Who's going to help me survive? People. People. To help demonstrate this, let's do this. Let's make, because this is such an important thing, it affects often our communities. Let's make you all middle class. You're all generational middle class, and let's pretend we get out early today. My back row, they just popped up. She say early? Are we getting done early? Did she just say that? We're not going to. Let me squash that dream right now. But let's pretend we did. And I don't know, you've been working 2 jobs. You've been saving up money over a lifetime. But you go out today, because it's about that time where they have sales on them. And you go out and you buy yourself a big old brand new boat. And you pay for that boat in full. Now, by the time you pay for the boat, you go to call insurance agent. They're already gone for the day. So you take that boat and you, oh so carefully, pull it in front of your middle-class neighborhood. You'll put insurance on it first thing in the morning. Now, when you pull a boat in front of a middle-class neighborhood, what tends to happen? Yeah, neighbors come out. We talk boating, don't we? That's right. I got this option, that option, this. You want to go boating? We'll go boating. You bet. Anytime you want. This option, this option, that. Boating, 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 boating. That's all they hear about. You go in, you have supper with the family. That's all they hear about. Boating, 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 boating. That's right, kids. Family fun starts now. I got the boat. Got this option, this option. Then the kids are like, "Would you get us a tube?" No, I didn't buy you a tube. I bought you a rope. Hang on. Fun for everybody. All right? And then you go into that whole lecture about my day. We didn't even have boats. We didn't have a lake. We had a puddle in the front lawn, and we were happy, right? You go into that whole lecture about that. Boom, boom, boom. Get off after supper. You go on the phone, talk to friends, family outside the region. That's right. Got the boat. You bet. Want to come in? We'll go boat. Let me check. Honey, we busy first week of June? Oh, we're open? All right, we'll go boating. You bet. Boating, boating, boating. You're so excited. You go home tonight. You go to bed. You're dreaming about your boat, right? Till 2 o'clock in the morning rolls around. You wake up to a commotion. You look outside. Now it's just me, in my pickup truck, hooking your boat up to my truck. What are you going to do? Oh, you might want to hurry up because I can hook it up fast, trust me. He's going to call the cops, right? Now, cops are going to take a moment to show up, so what might you do after that? You might grab a gun. Okay, he's got a gun. You've got your boat back. I got 30-some other boats, but that boat is his. What else might you do? Yeah, try keeping me there. Some of you are going to thinking you can physically take me. Some of you might yell at me, right? So we might do one of these things. In middle class, our response to the boat being stolen might be, you might call 911. You might yell at me. You may get physical with me. You may pull some type of weapon, whether it's a gun or a baseball bat or whatever. But we'll pull some type of weapon on me. And we think all those are relatively reasonable, don't we? Because you're taking your thing, your possession. Well, let's come to generational poverty. Generational poverty, remember, it's not about things. It's about people. So I'm in generational poverty. Sue back there, I've got her back. You know what that means? It means I'll do what I got to do to keep Sue safe, and she'll make sure that I'm safe. By the way, is safety a concern in our neighborhood? Oh, yeah, safety's a concern. So we've got each other. But for the most part, I possess Sue. That means when she's in trouble, she comes to my house. Well, all of a sudden, Sue starts hanging out with Jennifer. Essentially, what is Jennifer doing? Yeah, stealing my boat, right? Stealing my possession. Now, I can't have the first reaction you had, can I? Yeah, 911. Jennifer's taking Sue. Not the best 911 call. But I can have everything else you had. I can yell at. I can get physical with. And I may pull a weapon on who? Jennifer. To remind her to back off, step off. I'm taking care of Sue. Now, the only way that's going to change is if Jennifer is really well known in the community. And let's say all of you have Jennifer's back. Well, I'm good, but I'm not that good, right? Because if I put pressure on Jennifer, you guys will defend her. And that means I have to take all of you on. And you know what? I remember this gentleman up here has a gun. I'm good. I'm not that good. So now where do I put some of my pressure? On Sue? I may yell at her. I may get physical with her. I may even pull a weapon on her to remind her that her place is with me. Because there's nothing more dangerous than me being in this community, telling my story, thinking, Sue's going to collaborate. She's got my back. She doesn't. Jennifer throws up another side of the story. Sue takes her side. What does that let the whole community know? I'm out there by myself. I have no one covering me. Nothing's more dangerous. In wealth, it operates different as well. And I think the best example of this is when I went to visit my wealthy friend on the East Coast. And one of her houses there. When I got to her house, we were picked up and we were being driven to her friend's house. When we get there, there is a room, very large room. We enter. There's wood to get in. There's wood, thick, carved, beautiful, tall carved doors, at least 13 feet high. They're open for us. You come into this large room. There's marbled floors. There's a beautiful wood sculpture back here from the 17th century from, I don't know, some famous 17th century wood sculpture guy. Okay, that's back here. Here you have a beautiful table with a 5th century original china vase. But there's vaulted ceilings, and they're 20-foot high vaulted ceilings, and natural light is coming in. And other lighting brings your attention immediately to this dropped wall. And there's a dropped wall right here. And on that dropped wall, there's a piece of art. See, I don't think you get it. South Dakota girl sees some art she recognizes, she's going to say something, right? I recognize the art. I had just taken an art class in my master's track, and I knew instinctively that there wasn't that many originals out there. Honestly, to this day, I was so traumatized by that moment that I no longer remember the artist, but at the time I knew. Okay, so I come up and I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, this is a beautiful replica of Van Gogh. Yes, what did I say that was incorrect? Replica. Yeah, where were you 8 years ago? That would have been helpful, right? I heard this as she approached me from behind. That is not a replica. That is a $31.2 million original. I was like, all right, I'll be out with the lawn help lady. I can get you a nice hedge, okay? I can do that for you, okay? But I couldn't have insulted her more. I haven't been back to that house, and that's not a big surprise, because there was a one-of-a-kind object proudly being displayed, and in all honesty, pretty bold. That is pretty bold to put it right there. And so for me to make that comment was doubly insulting. It's like me being your neighbor when you're middle class. You bring in this middle class, you come into your middle class neighborhood, you bring in this boat. I'm your neighbor, I come out and I sincerely say this, what's that piece of junk? Missing the importance of it, right? Missing that you may have worked a lifetime for that boat. A couple falls ago, I got a phone call from South Dakota. Hey, Jody, what are you doing this weekend? Never answer that question. I don't know. Why? Because we're having a get out of jail party for Tim. Get out of jail for Tim. I said, man, I thought he was serving 20. No, something about overcrowded jails, good lawyer, out after 9. Now let me give you the background information to Tim. I was in the community when Tim committed his crime. He's a guilty man. We're not celebrating that an innocent man went to jail and we're going to celebrate that. No. He's a guilty man. He beat his woman to the degree she was in the hospital for a day or two. But upon hearing that this guilty man is going to get released, we're going to have a get out of jail party for him. Hold that. Would we do that in middle class? I haven't heard about it, but you let me know, okay? In generational poverty, though, all Tim has to do, now I didn't go out that weekend. In all honesty, I did not go out that weekend. But I went out 2 weekends later. There was a community event. And when I went out 2 weekends later, Tim was widely accepted back by the community. All Tim had to do was be fun, old, joking around Tim, be liked, and he was widely accepted by the community. Now it assisted a great deal that at his getting out of jail party was who in a pretty dress? His ex, right? Because had she thrown up a fuss, now this community would have been more split. Some would have taken her side of the story, some would have taken his side, and would have been more split. But because she was accepting of it, and he was fun, old, joking around Tim, there he was, widely accepted. In middle class, it's not going to work that way, isn't? Middle class, no, you go to jail, we want you to come out and do what? Get self-governing, that means stay out of trouble with the law. Get self-sufficient, that means get a job. Show us some achievement, that means get promoted, that means maybe buy a house. Show us that you're stable, and then we'll bring you back into the community.